So this picture is making me a little bit uncomfortable, and it probably should be making you too. And if you can't notice what's a little off about the picture, think about the fact that there are 3 different people there, 2 of which are women. One of them is not a woman, and it says your body during pregnancy. And if we needed proof that the trans movement is trying to eradicate and eliminate women's rights and women's spaces, here it is, my friends, in its full glory, and we are going to talk about it. But first, if you like this page and you like what we're doing and you believe in fighting back against crazy ideologies, including radical Islam and wokeism and all the crazy things that are trying to take over our societies and eradicate our brain cells, make sure to follow, like, comment, subscribe, share this with people that you know. Follow us on our Instagram and our X, Mira K Official, on all the different platforms. We are trying to make a movement to change what is going on, to fight back with a radically rational voice. And if you like that mug behind me, and if you want to support this page, mirak.com, we have a whole bunch of merch. But most importantly, 85% of you are not subscribed to this channel. The more people we can get to subscribe, the more we can get the word out, and the more we can actually make it normal again to be unapologetically proud of your values and to stand up against things that you don't like. And I don't like that poster. I do not like the idea of being pregnant and showing up at an NHS office in England, yes, because this is obviously in England, and seeing a picture of a man being pregnant, because I'll tell you something. Pregnancy is one of the hardest, most complicated, exhausting, exhilarating, amazing experiences a woman can go through. And that shouldn't be taken away from us. You know, in a world where women versus men, there's so many complexities, and men have all these opportunities and they're different to women, and there's all this, there's a movement to eradicate the beauty of being a female. Okay? And one of those things, one of the hardest and most complicated things about being a female is the ability to reproduce, is the ability to hold a child in your body, to create it, to build it, to make it, to deliver it into this world, to then feed it and love it and support it and make it into a thinking, functioning person. That is the duty of a female at our very essence, at our very core, and it is superb. As somebody who was just pregnant, who just had a baby, I cannot tell you how unbelievably special and unique this privilege is to women. Now, there's been a movement over the last, 100 years, 50 years to try and steal that away from us. Not just to take it away from us physically, like feminism movements trying to push us to not have children, to not become slave to men, or all of that rubbish, but also to take away the beauty. Oh, pregnancy is so hard and it's so complicated. And it is. It is not an easy thing to do, but it's a beautiful thing to do. And if you go online, if you're a young woman nowadays, you will be overwhelmed with content about, like, prepare yourself, this is like the worst thing that's ever going to happen to you. And obviously it's also amazing, but there's so much fear-mongering and horror around the idea of having children, when actually having children is the most amazing thing that you can do. But another element that they've decided to just add into the package of making life more complicated to be a female is the fact that now men should be considered females who can have babies. And that, my friends, is where we all need to put our foot down. Because number one, we all know that if men actually had to get pregnant, there would be no children in this world. Do you agree with me? No way. There's no way. There is 0 chance that a man, if all men had to have pregnancies to have children, that we would have babies. God knew what he was doing when he gave it to us, because they would never handle it. Have you seen a man have man flu? There's just no way. They just wouldn't. They just would never survive. We would not have a species. I wouldn't exist. None of us would exist, because it wouldn't have happened. But to take away this thing, our thing, the most sacred and beautiful thing, the most miraculous thing, to create life in our own bodies, to take everything that we are and to shapeshift and to change and to morph emotionally, physically, spiritually, and to pretend that this is now something that men can also have. They've taken enough. They don't deserve this one. And the trans movement is not right. And the NHS in the UK are not okay for doing this. But once again, this is an indicator of a bigger problem in the UK. Because if you think that the immigration problem and the trans problem and these pregnancy NHS problems are not all intertwined, you are wrong. They are all coincide. They all come together. Because as we've said a million times on the show, and as we will always say, if you eradicate the most basic things in a society and you confuse people about the things that they know intrinsically to be true, then you can manipulate them with anything. And the Islamization of a society starts with making a society forget what they care about, forget what they value, forget what they treasure. And societies used to value and treasure women. Not always, I'll give you that, but at least the ability for a woman to have a child, that was always seen as something very sacred to a woman. And I think we like that. it was a woman thing and men wanted nothing to do with it. And with time, we've a little bit matured into us kind of doing it together. And I think that's a good thing. I think dads should participate in births. I don't think the old fashioned, like my grandma used to tell me, like, oh, my husband went out for coffee whilst I was giving, no. None of that rubbish. I'm not for that. Men and women do this thing together, but it is the women's privilege to hold this thing in their body. They want to steal that and make it sound like this thing that men do. No. I won't allow it. I think this is a disgrace. I think this image is shocking and revolting, and everybody knows it. That's the thing. The thing is, in everybody's stomach, you see this image and you're like, oh, that's so wrong. And yet the NHS, a medical system, which... don't get me even started on what that means about our medical system and can it be trusted? Is there any way for us to trust the medical system if they think that they can, defy the most basic biology and science, the fact that it's women who have babies, it is not men. Like, that's kind of 101. I'm no doctor, but I feel like that's like the, most obvious thing about being a doctor is knowing biology and how it works, and that women's bodies have babies and men's bodies contribute to it. It's not the same. So that opens up the whole can of worms of, have they taken over the NHS as well? Are they just trying to get to our health systems and destroy us from within? Potentially, possibly, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist and we're not going down that lane right now. But what we are going to say is that women get pregnant, men do not. The NHS has to understand this, and the UK has to understand that this poster is an indicator to something much, much worse. It is an indicator to the fact that they are really managing to erode our society from within, and we need to fight back against all of it. If it doesn't feel right to you, stand up against it. If it feels uncomfortable to you, fight back. Because if you don't fight back, who will? Thank you for your attention to this matter. I'm Mira Kay, and I will see you next time.